The most dangerous manipulators don't control your actions, they quietly reshape who you believe you are. You think you're choosing freely, but something deeper is slowly influencing your identity without you noticing. What if the person you've become was shaped by someone else's expectations all along? This isn't obvious control, it's subtle influence, changing your self-image without force or direct pressure. This is called the Pygmalion Effect, and it's shaping people's lives right now, whether they realize it or not.
It started with a simple classroom experiment, but it changed how we understand human potential completely. Teachers were told certain students had higher potential, even though the selection was completely random. Nothing about those students actually changed, but something powerful started shifting inside their minds. The teachers believed in them more, and that belief subtly changed how they treated them every day. Over time, those students performed better, simply because someone expected more from them. The expectation became a signal, and the brain began adjusting behavior to match that belief. Students labeled average were overlooked, while others were encouraged through small, consistent interactions. Their confidence grew, their effort increased, and their results began aligning with those expectations. Not because they were smarter, but because they were treated as if they were. And eventually, they became exactly what others believed they could be.
Your brain constantly searches for signals about who you are supposed to be in the world. When someone expects more from you, your mind begins aligning behavior with that expectation. It rewires how you think, how you act, and how much effort you believe you can give. You start seeing yourself differently, not based on truth, but repeated external signals. And over time, those signals slowly become your internal identity. This creates a loop where belief shapes behavior, and behavior reinforces that belief. The more consistent the expectation, the stronger that identity becomes inside your mind. It feels natural, but it's actually being constructed through repeated psychological influence. You don't question it because it feels like it came from you, but in reality, it started from someone else's perception of you. Now, imagine when those expectations turn negative instead of supportive. When someone sees you as weak or incapable, your brain absorbs those signals. You begin doubting yourself. Even if you were once confident before, your behavior adjusts downward, matching those expectations without awareness. And slowly, your identity begins shrinking to fit that narrative. You stop trying as hard because you believe effort won't change how you're seen. Your mind enters a loop where low expectations produce low results repeatedly, and those results reinforce the belief that you were never capable. This isn't failure, it's psychological conditioning happening beneath your awareness. And the longer it continues, the harder it becomes to break free, because now it feels like who you truly are, not something shaped externally. You stop questioning it because it feels consistent with your daily experiences. But consistency doesn't mean truth. It often means repetition shaping perception. And repetition is one of the strongest forces in changing human behavior, especially when it's tied to emotion, relationships, and validation.
This is where things become dangerous in relationships, workplaces, and close environments. Because the people closest to you have the strongest influence over your self-image. A boss who doubts you can limit your performance without ever saying it directly. A partner who sees you as small can slowly shape you into that version. And you won't realize it's happening until your confidence is already gone. Narcissists and toxic people understand this, and sometimes they use it intentionally. They expect a weaker version of you because that version is easier to control. They repeat subtle messages that make you question your ability and worth. Over time, you adapt to survive, becoming smaller and more dependent. And that identity feels real even though it was constructed by someone else. You start walking differently, thinking differently, limiting your own potential. Your mind adapts to expectations, not your actual capability. This is psychological shaping, not real growth. And the longer you stay, the deeper that identity becomes rooted. Until you forget who you were before those expectations were placed on you. The first step to breaking this is awareness and complete honesty with yourself. You must recognize your current identity might not truly belong to you. Notice the expectations around you and question where they came from. Separate what others believe from what you know is true, and begin removing the labels that were placed on you without consent. This is how you rebuild identity, by questioning what once felt unquestionable. You train your mind to rely on evidence, not repeated opinions. You set boundaries against people who try to define your limits. And you step outside environments that reinforced those limitations. Because identity is flexible, and it can be rebuilt with intention. The moment you see the pattern, you stop reacting automatically. You start choosing actions based on truth, not someone else's beliefs. And slowly, you become who you truly are. So now the question becomes, who are you without other people's expectations? What version of yourself have you been holding back? And how much of your identity was built from signals you never questioned? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that awareness changes everything about how you see yourself. It gives you control over something most people never notice. Your identity, your behavior, and your potential begin shifting again. If this helped you see things clearly, consider subscribing for more insights like this.